The notification lit up my phone at 11:07 p.m. I was already in bed, book open on my lap, tea cooling on the nightstand. Just another Tuesday, just another quiet evening in the house that had felt too quiet for 3 years since Robert died, since I became a widow at 59 and had to learn how to be alone. I smiled when I saw Rachel's name on the screen. My daughter didn't usually text this late. Maybe she was thinking of me, maybe planning a surprise visit, maybe she just wanted to say goodnight. I opened the message. When will that old hag finally die? Then we can sell her house and finally live properly. I'm so sick of pretending to care. This weekly visit charade is exhausting, but we need to keep her sweet until she adds us to the deed. Then we just wait. I stared at the words, blinked, read them again. They didn't change, didn't rearrange into something that made sense, into something that didn't feel like my heart was being ripped out of my chest. Old hag, pretending to care, wait for her to die, sell her house, my daughter, my Rachel, the baby I'd rocked to sleep, the teenager whose heartbreaks I'd comforted, the young woman whose wedding I'd helped plan. That person had just called me an old hag, was waiting for me to die, was impatient about it. 3 dots appeared. She was typing then. Oh my God! Mum, that wasn't for you. That was for Derek. I'm so sorry. Please don't. It's not what it sounds like. I was just venting. I didn't mean it. Please, please call me. My phone started ringing. Rachel calling. I stared at it, let it ring, ring, ring. 6 times. I turned the phone off. Sat in darkness, in my bedroom, in the house Robert and I had bought 40 years ago when we were young and optimistic and alive. The house where we'd raised Tom and Rachel, where we'd had family dinners and holiday celebrations and a lifetime of memories. The house my daughter apparently saw as nothing more than real estate, as money waiting to be claimed, as her inheritance. I don't know how long I sat there, hours maybe, just processing, replaying every recent interaction through this new, horrible lens. How are you feeling, Mum? Rachel had asked last week. I'd thought it was concern. Now I understood. She was monitoring, checking if I was declining, if death was approaching, if the inheritance was coming. Have you thought about estate planning? She'd suggested 2 months ago. Just to make things easier for everyone later, avoid probate. You could add me to the house deed now, make the transfer seamless when the time comes. I'd actually been considering it, had thought it was practical, had thought my daughter was being helpful. Now I knew she was positioning, setting herself up, preparing for my death. Every visit, every I love you, every concerned question about my health, all of it performance, all of it manipulation, all of it fake. My daughter didn't love me. She loved my house, loved what I represented. $800,000 in real estate, money, inheritance. And she was frustrated I hadn't died yet, hadn't conveniently removed myself so she could finally live properly. The betrayal was crushing, worse than anything I'd felt when Robert died, because that had been tragedy, loss, grief, but not betrayal, not deliberate cruelty, not my own child wishing I was dead. At 4 a.m. I finally moved, made coffee, sat at the kitchen table where Rachel had done homework as a child, where we'd had thousands of family meals, where Robert and I had planned our retirement, where I now sat alone, holding a phone with a message that had destroyed everything I thought I knew about my daughter. I turned the phone back on. 23 missed calls from Rachel, 15 text messages. Mum, please answer. I'm so sorry. It didn't mean anything. I was frustrated about work. Derek and I were fighting. I said things I didn't mean. Please don't hate me. Mum, I'm begging you. It was a stupid joke. Please let me explain. I love you so much. Mum, please, please, please. I didn't respond. Needed to think. Needed to plan. Because one thing was clear. I couldn't pretend this hadn't happened. Couldn't go back to weekly visits and fake smiles. Couldn't keep playing the role of oblivious elderly mother who didn't know her daughter was waiting for her to die. But I also couldn't just confront her. Couldn't just say, I know what you really think. And expect what? An apology? Genuine remorse? Change? No. Rachel had been performing for months, maybe years. She was good at it, good at manipulation. If I confronted her now, she'd just apologise more convincingly, cry more dramatically, make me feel guilty for doubting her, and then she'd just be more careful, would keep waiting for me to die while resenting that I hadn't died fast enough. I needed more than confrontation. I needed to know the full scope of this betrayal, needed to understand if Tom knew, if others knew, if this was recent or long-term. And then I needed to make sure that when Rachel faced consequences, she'd understand exactly what she'd destroyed. I'm 62 years old. People call that elderly, old done. But I've never felt old. Robert's death had aged me emotionally, but not mentally. I was still sharp, still strategic, still perfectly capable of complex planning. I'd run a business for 30 years. Robert and I had owned a consulting firm together. I'd negotiated deals, managed difficult clients, built something from nothing. I wasn't some helpless widow who could be manipulated and dismissed. I was a woman who'd been grieving and lonely and vulnerable, and my daughter had exploited that vulnerability, had seen my pain as opportunity, had treated my need for family as weakness to manipulate. That was going to change, starting now. At 6 a.m, I called my lawyer. Martin had handled Robert's estate, knew our family, knew our finances. Martin, it's Linda. I need to see you today. It's urgent. Of course. Is everything all right? No, I said honestly. Everything is not all right, but I'm going to fix it. I'll be there at 9 a.m. I showered, dressed carefully, not comfortable, casual clothes, professional clothes, business clothes, the armour I'd worn when running my company, when being taken seriously mattered. I looked at myself in the mirror, saw a woman who'd let grief make her soft, make her vulnerable. That stopped today. At 8:30, my phone rang. Rachel, I answered this time. Mom, she sobbed immediately. Mom, I'm so sorry. I didn't mean it, any of it. I was just frustrated. Derek and I were fighting. I said terrible things. I didn't mean... Rachel, I interrupted. Calm voice, controlled. We need to talk, but not now. Not like this. Come to the house Friday, 7 p.m. Bring Derek. Mum, please, I can explain. Friday, 7 p.m. Don't be late. I hung up. Felt something I hadn't felt in 3 years. Powerful, in control, strategic, not the grieving widow, not the lonely mother, not the vulnerable old hag my daughter thought she could manipulate, but Linda Richards, the woman who'd built a business, who'd been underestimated before and proved everyone wrong, who was about to teach her daughter the most expensive lesson of her life. You don't betray the people who love you, and if you do, there are consequences. Uncovering the scheme. Martin looked at the text message I showed him on my phone, read it twice. His professional composure cracked for just a moment. I saw genuine horror flash across his face. Linda, I'm so sorry. This is unconscionable. It's revealing, I said flatly. And I need to know the full scope before I decide what to do. Can you help me? What do you need? First, I want to change my will immediately. Today, if possible, remove Rachel entirely. Everything goes to Tom, with trusts for my grandchildren that Rachel cannot access or control. Martin hesitated. Linda, I understand you're angry and you have every right to be, but perhaps you should take some time before making such a dramatic... I've had 3 years of time, I interrupted. 3 years of being lonely, of being grateful for Rachel's attention, of almost adding her to my house deed because I trusted her. I'm not acting rashly, Martin. I'm acting strategically. This can always be changed if circumstances warrant. But right now, today, I want legal protection from my daughter's greed. All right, Martin said. I can have new documents ready by tomorrow end of day. Good. And Martin, complete confidentiality. Rachel cannot know about this change. Not yet. Attorney-client privilege. She won't hear it from me. There's something else, I continued. I need to know if Rachel has been making inquiries about my estate, about the house value, about inheritance laws. Can you find that out? I can make some discreet calls, check with real estate assessors, estate planners. If she's been asking questions, there'll be a trail. Find it, I said. I need to know everything. Left Martin's office feeling more in control, but I needed more. I needed proof. I needed documentation. I needed to understand the full scope of Rachel's manipulation. That meant hiring someone who could dig deeper than Martin's legal inquiries. By Wednesday afternoon, I'd retained David Chen, a private investigator Martin had recommended, former detective, discreet, thorough, exactly what I needed. I want to know what my daughter has been doing regarding my property, I told him. Real estate inquiries, estate planning consultations, any financial moves related to me. Can you find that? I can find it, David said. Give me a week. Wednesday and Thursday, Rachel called constantly. I didn't answer. She showed up at my house Thursday afternoon. I watched through the window as she knocked, rang the doorbell, knocked again. Saw her crying on my front porch. Didn't open the door. Couldn't trust myself not to scream at her, not to ruin the plan by revealing what I knew before I had all the information. She left a note. Mum, please talk to me. I love you. I'm so sorry. Please don't shut me out. Rachel, I threw it away. Thursday evening, my son Tom called. Mum, Rachel's been calling me, freaking out. Says you won't talk to her. Says something happened but won't tell me what. Are you okay? What's going on? Tom, my firstborn, 38 years old, married to Sarah, father to 2 teenagers, a good man, a genuine man who'd never asked me for money, never pressured me about anything, never saw me as anything other than his mother. I trusted Tom. Tom, can you come over now? I need to talk to you about something important. Oh, I'm leaving work right now. Be there in an hour. Tom arrived at my house looking worried, gave me a hug, genuine, concerned, real. Not performance, not manipulation, just my son being my son. I showed him the text, watched his face change, watched shock turn to anger, turn to something like devastation. Jesus Christ, he whispered. Rachel said this about you. She meant to send it to Derek, sent it to me by accident, has been trying to apologise ever since. But Tom, I need to know, Did you know about this? About her attitude toward me, her plans? No, Tom said emphatically. Mom, no, I had no idea. Rachel visits you all the time. I thought she was being a good daughter. I thought... He stopped. Something crossed his face. What? I asked, or what is it? Tom looked uncomfortable. 6 months ago, Rachel asked to borrow money, $50,000. She said... He paused. She said you had medical issues, that you needed treatment insurance wouldn't cover, that you were too proud to ask for help. She said she and Derek were covering your medical costs but needed short-term help. A loan. My blood went cold. I haven't had any medical issues, I said quietly. Haven't needed any treatment. Tom, I'm perfectly healthy. Rachel lied to you. Son of a bitch, Tom said, voice tight with fury. I gave her $50,000, told her to pay me back whenever because it was for you, for helping Mum. She committed fraud. She stole from me, using you as justification. To fund what? I asked. Their lifestyle? Their living properly? They're waiting for me to die? I don't know, Tom said, but I'm going to find out. Mum, what do you want to do? Should we confront her, report her? She broke the law against me, against you? Wait, I said firmly, until I have all the information, until I know everything. Tom, I need you to do something. Don't tell Rachel you know. Not yet. Act normal and listen. Pay attention to what she says, what Derek says. Report back to me. Tom nodded. I can do that, but Mom, I'm so sorry. So sorry she did this. You don't deserve this. No one does, I said. But it happened, and now I'm going to make sure there are consequences. Friday at 7 p.m, Rachel and Derek arrived. I'd prepared carefully, had rehearsed my approach, cold, distant, but not full revelation. Not yet. Rachel looked terrible. Puffy eyes, nervous energy. Derek looked uncomfortable, probably knew his wife had fucked up but didn't know how badly. They sat on my couch. I sat across from them, said nothing. Let the silence stretch. Watched them squirm. Finally, Rachel spoke. Mom, I'm so sorry. What I sent, what you saw, it wasn't real. I was just venting. Derek and I had been arguing about money and I was frustrated and I said things I didn't mean, terrible things, but I didn't mean them, Mum. I love you. I'd never... She started crying, genuine tears, but were they remorse or fear of losing the inheritance? Rachel, I said calmly, you texted your husband that you were waiting for me to die, that you were sick of pretending to care, that you wanted to sell my house, that you needed me to add you to the deed first. Those aren't vague complaints. Those are plans. No, Rachel said desperately. No, it wasn't like that. I've been stressed about money, about our house, about providing for Emma and Jake, and I was being stupid and fantasizing about easier situations, and I said terrible things, but I didn't mean them. Then why? I interrupted. Did you tell Tom I had medical issues? Why did you borrow $50,000 from him claiming it was for my treatment when I haven't been sick at all? Rachel's face went white. Derek's head snapped toward her. You did what? I can explain, Rachel said quickly, panicking now. We needed money and I thought if Tom knew it was for us, he wouldn't lend it. But if he thought it was for you, you committed fraud, I said, against your brother, using me as justification. That's not stress, Rachel. That's calculation. That's deliberate deception. Mom, please. Were you ever going to tell the truth, I asked? Or were you going to let Tom think he'd helped his sick mother when really he'd funded your lifestyle? Rachel was crying harder now. Derek looked furious at her, not at me. "Answer your mother," he said coldly. "Where did the money go?" "Living expenses," Rachel sobbed. "Credit cards, the mortgage. We've been struggling and I didn't know what to do." "So you lied," I said, "and manipulated, and borrowed money under false pretenses, and plotted to inherit my house, and waited impatiently for me to die. That's your solution to financial stress." I stood up. "Rachel, Derek, I think you should leave. I need time to think, to decide what I want to do, to decide what kind of relationship, if any, I want with a daughter who sees me as nothing more than a future inheritance." "Mum, please don't. Leave," I said firmly. "Now, I'll contact you when I'm ready, if I'm ever ready." They left. Derek practically dragged Rachel out. I sat alone in my living room, felt no satisfaction, no victory, just emptiness. My daughter had betrayed me, and I still didn't know the full scope, but I would. David was investigating, Martin was changing my will, Tom was listening, and I was planning. Planning exactly how to make Rachel understand what she'd done, what she'd destroyed, what it cost to betray the person who loved you most. 1 week later, David called. "Linda, I have information, a lot of it. Can I come by?" He arrived that evening with a thick folder. "Your daughter has been busy," he said, spreading documents across my dining table. Real estate assessments, 3 different companies, all from the past 4 months, all for properties matching my address. "She contacted these agents," David explained, "asked about market value, comparable sales, how quickly a property like yours would sell. Told them she was planning ahead for when her mother passes. Planning ahead while I was still alive, still healthy." "There's more," David continued. "She attempted to access your medical records, called your doctor's office 3 weeks ago, asked if there were any concerning diagnoses, any cognitive decline, any reason to worry about your ability to manage your affairs. What did they tell her?" "Nothing. PR protections. But she tried. She was fishing for ammunition, looking for legitimate reasons to take control of your finances." I felt sick. "And this," David said, pulling out printouts, "social media posts, private accounts, but I have sources. Rachel's been telling her friends that you're declining, that she's worried about Mum's health." Setting a narrative, I looked at the posts, Rachel's words to her friend group. "Mum's not doing well, getting forgetful. I'm worried about her living alone. Had to help Mum with her bills this week. She's really declining. Starting to think about what happens when Mum can't manage anymore." All lies, all manipulation, all setting up a story where I was failing so she'd look justified when she tried to take control. "There's one more thing," David said carefully. "Last week, your daughter met with a realtor, not for an assessment, for actual listing preparation. She asked them to prepare marketing materials for your property, gave them interior photos. She must have taken them during her visits, asked them to stage a listing for when the time comes." "She's already selling my house," I whispered, and I'm not even dead yet." "She's preparing," David said, "positioning, getting ready to move the moment she inherits." I looked at all the documents, all the evidence, all the proof of Rachel's systematic campaign. This wasn't a moment of frustration, wasn't one text message. This was months of planning, months of lying, months of setting up her inheritance while pretending to be a loving daughter. "David," I said, "I need you to keep monitoring Document everything she does for the next 3 months. Every real estate contact, every lie, every manipulation. Can you do that? I can do that. But Linda, what are you planning? I smiled. Cold smile, strategic smile. I'm planning a lesson, I said, one my daughter will never forget. The elaborate test. 2 weeks after I'd hired David, I sat in my living room staring at all the evidence spread across my coffee table, real estate assessments, fake medical claims, lies to family, social media manipulation, meeting with listing agents. My daughter hadn't just wished I was dead in one frustrated text. She'd built an entire campaign around my eventual death, had been systematically preparing for years I hadn't lived yet. The will was already changed, Rachel removed entirely. The house would be sold and proceeds donated to charity and Tom. Legally, I was protected, but legal protection wasn't enough. Rachel needed to understand what she'd done, needed to feel the consequences, needed a lesson she'd carry forever. That's when the idea came to me. Terrible idea, manipulative idea, exactly the kind of thing Rachel herself would do. Perfect idea. I called Rachel. First time I'd initiated contact since that Friday confrontation. She answered on the first ring. Mum? Hopeful voice, desperate voice. Rachel, I need to see you tomorrow, noon, just you, not Derek. Yes, she said immediately. Yes, of course, thank you for talking to me. Tomorrow, I interrupted, hung up. The next day, Rachel arrived exactly at noon. Punctual, nervous, hopeful. I let her in. Made tea. We sat at the kitchen table. I looked at my daughter, really looked at her, saw the desperation, the fear of losing something she'd never actually had, the calculation behind the anxiety. Rachel, I said carefully, I've been thinking about what you said, about our relationship, about the future. Mum, I'm so sorry. Let me finish. She closed her mouth, waited. I went to the doctor last week, I said, for some tests. I've been feeling off, tired, having some pain. I thought it was just age, just grief, but I paused, let the silence build, watched Rachel's face, watched something flicker in her eyes. Was it concern or was it anticipation? The results came back yesterday, I continued slowly. It's not good news, Rachel. I have cancer, pancreatic cancer, stage 4. The doctor says 6 months, maybe a year with treatment. But the prognosis isn't hopeful. Rachel's face did something complicated. She made the appropriate shocked expression, hand to mouth, gasping sound. Oh my God, Mum, no, that can't be. But her eyes betrayed her. For just a flash, just 1 second, I saw it. Relief, actual relief that I was dying, that she wouldn't have to wait much longer, that the inheritance was coming. Then she caught herself, rearranged her expression, started crying. Mom, I'm so sorry. This is terrible. We'll fight this. We'll get the best doctors. There's nothing to do, I said flatly. It's too advanced. I have months, not years. So I need to get my affairs in order. And I wanted you to know first, before Tom, before anyone, you're my daughter. Rachel was fully crying now. Performance or genuine emotion, I couldn't tell anymore. Didn't want to tell. What can I do? She asked. How can I help? Should you be alone? Maybe you should move in with us. There it was, the suggestion to move in, to give up my house while still alive. I'll be fine for now, I said. I want to stay in my own home as long as possible, but there are things I need to handle. Legal things, the will, the house. I was thinking, I paused. I was thinking of adding you to the deed, like you suggested. Make things easier. Avoid probate. Rachel's face lit up. She tried to hide it. tried to look somber and sad, but I saw the excitement, the victory, the greed. Mom, you don't have to think about that now. I want things settled, I said firmly. Want to know everything is in order, that you and Tom will be taken care of. Will you help me with this? Of course, Rachel said quickly. Whatever you need. Derek and I are here for you. I bet you are, I thought. There's a lawyer I want to consult about the deed transfer, I said. Can you come with me next week? Yes, absolutely. Just tell me when. I'll set it up. And Rachel? I looked at her directly. I'm sorry about being angry, about doubting you. I understand now. Maybe you were sensing something was wrong with me even before I knew. Maybe that's why you were thinking about the future, about the house, not because you wanted me gone, but because you were afraid I was declining. Rachel grabbed that narrative like a lifeline. Yes, she said eagerly. Yes, maybe that was it. I've been worried about you, Mom. You seem tired, not yourself. Maybe I was sensing you were sick. Maybe that's why I've been thinking about inheritance. Not because I wanted you dead, but because I was afraid of losing you. She was good, really good. If I hadn't seen that flash of relief, if I didn't know about the real estate assessments and the fraud against Tom and all the lies, if I didn't know exactly who she was, I might have believed her. Thank you for understanding, I said. It means so much in these final months. Don't say final, Rachel said, still performing. You're going to fight. Maybe, I said, knowing I wouldn't fight, knowing there was nothing to fight, because I wasn't actually sick, because this was a test, a way to see exactly how far Rachel's greed would go, how quickly she'd move once she knew death was imminent, how much of her concern was real. After Rachel left, promising to call every day, to visit often, to help with whatever you need, I sat alone, felt something like grief, not for myself, not for fake cancer, but for the daughter I'd thought I had, for the relationship I'd believed was real. That daughter was gone, maybe had never existed. Now I'd see who Rachel truly was. The next 3 months were instructive and horrible. Rachel visited 3 times a week, brought food, helped clean, asked about my symptoms and pain levels and whether I'd thought more about estate planning. She suggested care facilities twice. Said if I got too weak, maybe it would be easier if I moved somewhere with professional care. What she meant if I moved out, she could prepare the house for sale, could start benefiting before I was even dead. Derek was more direct, actually sat in my living room and said, Linda, I know this is uncomfortable, but have you updated your estate documents? Rachel and I want to make sure everything is clear, make sure the transition is smooth. Transition? Like my death was a business deal. I played along, said I was working on it, said my lawyer was preparing documents, watched them exchange glances, watched them calculate. Tom visited too, knew the truth, that I wasn't sick, that this was a test. He was disgusted. She's shopping for furniture, Mom, he told me after running into Rachel at a home store, looking at couches and dining tables, telling the salesperson she's redecorating soon. She's shopping for your house while you're supposedly dying. David kept documenting every furniture shopping trip, every meeting with realtors, every lie Rachel told. She's told at least 6 people you're dying, David reported. Friends, extended family, setting the narrative, preparing everyone for the inheritance. 2.5 months into my fake dying, Rachel threw a party, called it a celebration of life, supposedly for me, to honour Mum while she's still here, to make memories. But when I arrived, driven by Tom because I was supposedly too weak, I saw what it really was. A preview, a house showing, a way for Rachel to show off what would soon be hers. She'd invited extended family, friends, neighbours, set up photo displays, made speeches about cherishing every moment. But I saw the other conversations. Rachel showing people photos of my house on her phone, talking about the property and what we're planning to do with it. I heard her tell someone, 6 months tops, then it's ours, then we can finally upgrade, finally have the life we deserve, finally have the life they deserve, built on money from my death. I smiled through the party, accepted condolences, played the dying woman, and I decided, time to end this, time for truth. I called Martin, set up a family meeting. Everyone needs to be there. Rachel, Derek, Tom, extended family, my grandchildren, everyone. When? 2 weeks. Give me time to prepare. And Martin, bring every piece of evidence, every document, every recording. We're going to make sure Rachel understands exactly what she did. Understood? Linda, are you sure about this? Once you do this, there's no going back. I'm sure, I said, more sure than I've ever been. Rachel chose greed over love. Now she faces consequences. The devastating revelation. The family meeting was set for Sunday afternoon, 2 p.m. My house, my territory. I'd invited everyone, told them it was to discuss final arrangements, to review estate documents, to make sure everyone understood my plans. Rachel arrived early. Of course she did. Wanted to help set up, wanted to be visible, wanted to position herself as a dutiful daughter. She brought flowers, brought food, brought Emma and Jake dressed nicely, playing the part perfectly. Everyone arrived by 2 p.m. Rachel and Derek, Tom and Sarah, my sister Margaret, Robert's brother James, Rachel's best friend Kristen, extended family, and the grandchildren, Emma, 7, and Jake, 5. Too young to fully understand, but old enough to remember. Martin sat beside me, laptop ready. David sat in back with his files. I'd set up a projector screen at the front of the room. Thank you all for coming, I began, voice steady. As you know, I've been sick, dying, according to doctors. 6 months, they said 3 months ago. So I have perhaps 3 months left. Rachel dabbed her eyes, playing grieving daughter. I wanted to gather everyone to discuss my will, my property, my wishes, but before we discuss the future, I want to discuss the past, specifically the past 3 months. I nodded to Martin. He clicked his laptop. The projector lit up. A text message, blown up huge, visible to everyone. When will that old hag finally die? Then we can sell her house and finally live properly. I'm so sick of pretending to care. Silence. Absolute silence. Rachel's face went white. Tom looked at her with disgust. Margaret gasped. This text, I said calmly, was sent to me by my daughter 3 months ago. She meant to send it to Derek, sent it to me by accident, and it revealed something important. Rachel wasn't visiting me out of love. She was waiting for me to die, impatient for me to die, eager to inherit and sell my house. Mum, that's not... Rachel started. Don't interrupt, I said sharply. You'll have your chance. Right now you listen. Martin clicked again. Real estate assessments, photos of my house, market analyses. These documents show Rachel had my property assessed multiple times, contacted real estate agents, prepared marketing materials, all while I was supposedly dying. Click. Medical records request logs. These show Rachel attempting to access my medical records, trying to find leverage to take control of my finances. Click. Bank statements. These show Rachel borrowed $50,000 from Tom, claiming it was for my medical expenses. I had no medical expenses. She committed fraud against her own brother. Tom stood up, looked at Rachel. You told me Mum needed treatment. You lied. Tom, I can explain, Rachel said desperately. Sit down, Tom, I said to her. Please. Click. Photos. Rachel shopping for furniture, meeting with interior designers. These were taken over the past 3 months. While I was supposedly dying, Rachel was redecorating, shopping for furniture for my house, planning renovations. Margaret spoke up. Linda, what are you saying? I'm saying, I turned to face everyone, that my daughter saw my death not as tragedy, but as opportunity, as real estate, as inheritance she was impatient to receive. I looked at Rachel directly. And here's the most important part. The cancer diagnosis I told Rachel about 3 months ago. It was fake. I'm not dying. I'm perfectly healthy. It was a test. The room exploded. Everyone talking at once. Margaret, you lied about cancer? Tom, Mom, you... Rachel, you tricked me. You made me think you were dying. I made you think I was dying, I said loudly, to see if you'd show genuine concern, genuine love. Instead, you immediately started preparing to sell my house, started shopping for furniture, started celebrating that you wouldn't have to wait much longer. That's not fair, Rachel sobbed. You can't trick someone and then judge. I can judge you based on your actions, I said coldly, based on what you chose to do when you thought I was dying. You didn't comfort me, didn't grieve, you calculated. Derek stood up. This is insane. Linda, you're being cruel. Rachel was just being prepared. Prepared to what? I asked. To benefit from my death? To sell my house before I was cold? David, play the recording, please. David clicked his laptop. Audio played through speakers. Rachel's voice crystal clear. 6 months tops, then it's ours. We can sell for at least $800,000, finally upgrade, finally have the life we deserve. Silence again. Damning silence. Emma looked up at her mother. Mommy, why did you say that? Rachel was sobbing too hard to answer. Here's what's going to happen, I said, voice final. First, Rachel, you're removed from my will entirely. You inherit nothing. Everything goes to Tom and trusts for Emma and Jake that you cannot access. Rachel gasped. Actual wail. Second, I'm selling this house, not leaving it to anyone, selling it and moving. Proceeds will be donated to charity and divided between Tom and trusts for all grandchildren. Mum, you can't. Third, our relationship is over. I'll maintain contact with Emma and Jake. But you, I don't want to see you, don't want your apologies or justifications. You showed me who you are, someone who wished her mother dead, someone who called me an old hag. I don't need that in my life. I'm your daughter, Rachel screamed, standing now, hysterical. You can't just cut me off. That's my inheritance. I can, I said, and I am. You stopped being my daughter when you started wishing I was dead. This is the consequence, Rachel. This is what betrayal costs. Martin stood. I have documents. New will, legally binding, already signed. Rachel is removed. This is final. Rachel turned to Tom. Tom, you can't let her do this. We're siblings. You lied to me. Tom said coldly. Stole from me. Used Mum's fake illness to commit fraud. I don't even know you anymore, Rachel. Rachel looked around the room, at Margaret, at James, at Kristen, looking for allies, finding none. Everyone had seen the evidence, heard the recordings. Everyone knew what she'd done. This isn't fair, she said, voice breaking. One mistake, one text message, and you're destroying my life? It wasn't one mistake, I said. It was months of deception, months of manipulation, months of waiting for me to die while pretending to care. That's not a mistake, that's who you are. I stood. This meeting is over. Rachel, Derek, please leave. Everyone else is welcome to stay. Security, I'd hired security, escorted Rachel and Derek out. Rachel was screaming, incomprehensible, devastated. After they left, I sat down, suddenly exhausted. Tom came over, hugged me. Mum, I'm so sorry. You didn't deserve this. No one does, I said. But it happened. And now I move forward. Margaret sat beside me. You did the right thing, Linda. Rachel needs to face consequences. I nodded, but I felt no triumph. No satisfaction, just emptiness. My daughter had betrayed me and I'd destroyed our relationship to prove it. Aftermath? An uncertain future. The next 3 months were brutal. I sold the house, put it on market immediately. It sold in 2 weeks for $825,000, more than Rachel's estimate. I felt nothing looking at that number. Just empty. Moved to a 2-bedroom condo. Modern, clean, no memories. Donated $500,000 to cancer research. Ironic given my fake diagnosis. $200,000 to Tom. Not inheritance, a gift. $125,000 into trusts for Emma and Jake, protected from Rachel. Rachel's life imploded. Derek filed for divorce within a month. Blamed her for losing the inheritance. Her marriage, friendships, family relationships, all fractured. She called constantly. I blocked her number. Showed up at my condo. I didn't answer. Sent letters. I returned them unopened. I maintained contact with Emma and Jake only. Court-arranged visitation separate from Rachel. Tom reported that Rachel had hit rock bottom. Lost the house, couldn't afford mortgage without Derek. Moved to a small apartment. Working full-time now, no more comfortable lifestyle. She's in therapy, Tom told me 6 months after the revelation. Actually working on herself, says she understands what she did. Good, I said. She should. But I didn't forgive her, didn't reach out, didn't soften. 1 year after the revelation, a letter arrived. Rachel's handwriting. I almost threw it away, almost maintained my boundary, but curiosity won. I opened it. Mom, I don't expect you to read this. You've returned every other letter, but I need to say this anyway. I fucked up completely, irreversibly. I betrayed you in the worst way possible. I was greedy and selfish and cruel. I saw you as money instead of my mother. I'm not asking forgiveness. I don't deserve it. I'm writing to tell you I understand now what I did. It took losing everything, my marriage, my home, you. It took rock bottom to see who I'd become. And I hate that person. I've been in therapy for a year, real therapy, working on understanding why I valued money over people, why I treated you like an obstacle. The therapist says I have issues with worth, with defining myself through external things like money instead of character. I'm trying to change, trying to become someone different, someone better, not because I think you'll forgive me, but because it's right. I'm sorry, Mom, genuinely sorry, not because I lost the inheritance, but because I hurt you, because I wished you dead, because I betrayed everything a daughter should be. You deserve better. I hope you're happy. I hope you're living well. I hope you're not spending your days sad about what I did. Thank you for Emma and Jake's trusts. Thank you for still seeing them even though you can't see me. I love you. I know I have no right to say that, but I do. I don't expect you to respond. Don't expect anything. Just wanted you to know I'm sorry. I understand, and I'm trying to be better, even if it's too late. Rachel, I read it 3 times, cried through all 3 readings, not because it fixed anything, but because it was real. Rachel wasn't asking for anything, wasn't manipulating. She was just acknowledging I didn't respond, wasn't ready, might never be ready, but I kept the letter. 2 years after the revelation, Emma turned 9, wanted both me and Rachel at her birthday party. Please, Grandma, she begged, I want you both there. I talked to Tom about it. Can I be in the same room as Rachel without falling apart? You're stronger than you think, Tom said, and Emma deserves this, I agreed. Set boundaries, arrive at specific times, stay for cake, leave before extended interaction. The party was at a park. Rachel was there, saw me, froze, looked terrified. I walked over to Emma, not Rachel. Happy birthday, sweetheart. The party was awkward. Rachel maintained distance, didn't approach, just existed in the same space. Near the end, she approached hesitantly. Thank you for coming, she said quietly. I know it was hard. I looked at my daughter, saw someone thinner, worn down, but somehow clearer, more real. I came for Emma, I said, not for you. I know, Rachel said, but still, thank you. Awkward silence. I got your letter, I said, finally. The one from 6 months ago. Rachel's eyes widened. I didn't know if you'd read it. I read it, and I believe you meant it. I believe you're trying to change. But Rachel, believing you're trying isn't the same as forgiving you, isn't the same as trusting you. What you did broke something fundamental. I understand, Rachel said, voice shaking but steady. I'm not asking forgiveness, just thank you for considering that I might be genuine. If I died tomorrow, I asked, would you still sell my condo to finally live properly? Rachel flinched. No, she said. God, no. Mum, I don't think like that anymore. The therapy, the losing everything, it changed me. I don't see people as money. I see you as my mother. I want to believe that, I said, but I can't. Not yet. Maybe not ever. Trust is rebuilt through years of consistent action, not words. I know, Rachel whispered, but I'm going to keep trying anyway, not because you'll forgive me, but because it's right. I nodded, left, got in my car, and cried for what was lost, for what might never be recovered, for everything. 3 years later, I was genuinely happy, not pretending, actually happy. I'd travelled, made friends, volunteered extensively, lived, not just existed, waiting for death like Rachel had wanted, proved that 65 wasn't old, wasn't done, was just another chapter. Rachel and I had limited contact, birthday parties, holidays sometimes, brief conversations, careful boundaries. Tom reported she genuinely changed, downsized, worked hard, stayed in therapy. She's different, Mum, really different. Good, I said, but that doesn't mean I have to trust her. 4 years after the revelation, Rachel called. Mum, I've been in therapy 4 years now, and my therapist thinks I'm ready for something. Family therapy, joint sessions, you and me, to process what happened, not to force reconciliation, but to find closure. Would you consider it? I was quiet for a long time. I'll think about it, I said finally. That's all I can promise. That's enough, Rachel said. Thank you. I talked to my own therapist about it. Are you strong enough, she asked, healed enough to risk being vulnerable again? I think so, I said. I've built a life without her, proved I don't need her. Maybe from that position of strength I can risk trying. 6 weeks later, I sat in a family therapist's office. Rachel sat across from me. Thank you both for being here, Dr. Stevens said. This is brave. Linda, this is your chance to speak, to say everything. Rachel will listen, not defend, just listen. I looked at my daughter. You called me an old hag, I said. You wished me dead. You exploited my grief and loneliness. You betrayed me in the worst possible way. Rachel was crying silently. You destroyed trust, I continued. Destroyed the possibility of ever believing you without questioning your motives. That's what you did. Rachel nodded. I know, I'm so sorry. We spent an hour there, me talking, Rachel listening. It didn't fix anything, but it was a start. Over the next year, we had monthly sessions. Slowly, painfully slowly, something shifted. Not reconciliation, not forgiveness, but understanding, acknowledgement, possibility. 5 years after the revelation, on a random Tuesday, I invited Rachel to coffee. First time I'd initiated contact in 5 years. She looked shocked. Really? Really? I said. Just coffee, just talking, no promises. We met at a cafe, talked awkwardly at first, then more naturally, about Emma and Jake, about her therapy, about my travels, not about the past, not about betrayal, just present. Two people having coffee. It wasn't friendship, wasn't family as it had been, but it was something. That evening, sitting in my condo, I thought about the past 5 years, about the text that had destroyed everything, about the test I'd designed, about the devastation at that family meeting, about the years of no contact, about Rachel's rock bottom and slow climb up, about therapy and careful boundaries and this fragile new thing we were building. Would I do it all again, knowing the cost, knowing the pain? Yes, because living in truth, even painful truth, was better than living in comfortable lies, because knowing who Rachel really was had been devastating but necessary, because protecting myself had been the right choice, and because maybe this new relationship built on honesty and hard work and years of change might actually be stronger than what we'd had before, or maybe not. Maybe trust was too broken. Maybe some betrayals couldn't be overcome. I didn't know. But for the first time in 5 years, I was willing to try. Not because Rachel deserved it, but because I was strong enough now, whole enough, healed enough to risk vulnerability one more time. That was something. That was progress. That was hope. And maybe, just maybe, that was enough.